Hello there guys, welcome to my Cyberpunk benchmark, which took a bit. I know, the game came out yesterday. I was sort of too busy, too invested in the story, so I kind of forgot to record performance figures. But here we are, better late than never, right? So first of all, let's run through the settings. So graphics, we are running essentially everything maxed out, as you can see, except ray tracing and DLSS, because it has issues as of right now. Sometimes it just forgets it's on. How can I explain? Well, let's just say you're running like a 50 FPS, ray tracing on ultra, medium, whatever, with DLSS, and then you go into a cutscene or you just pause the game and you come back and you have like 20 FPS and the DLSS is actually not working, so I had to get rid of that. So I'm running just standard Full HD, ultra settings, everything maxed out as per default setting. That's what the game set for the 2070 as default, which at first I assumed it would be too much, but it's just about right for 60 FPS. I wouldn't say it's locked 60. At times it does drop, but it's hardly noticeable. And when it does happen, it still remains rather fluid, which is a good thing that I noticed in Cyberpunk. It doesn't really feel like sluggish when the frames drop, which, well, quite nice, if I gotta say so myself. It's like Red Dead Redemption. You know, it kind of just, it's sort of, you know, let's just say the devs sort of made it for low frame rates. Some games feel weird when you're running at less than 60, but Cyberpunk does not, which is good. So 60 Hz locked VSync, I could unlock, but then again, it's maxing out the card, so the frame output would be the same. Wouldn't change much, honestly. The computer is already struggling as is, as you can tell, 98%. So, what the hell? Oh, someone, oh, never mind. Let's just walk away. So we are in the center, the city center, where the markets are, like a bunch of people walking around. There's a lot of stress going on for the CPU and the graphics card, of course. As you can see, I'm using about 58. Without recording, I would say 60, perhaps. Now we dropped a little bit more. Let's say we would have 55, 56 without recording. As per personal experience, I've been playing the game for like 15 hours now, so I'm kind of used to the performance figures at times, how it usually behaves. So we're just gonna walk around and see how the frames, if they stay around the same ballpark or if they fluctuate too much. That's basically what I'm gonna be doing. So essentially spoiler-free gameplay. I'm not gonna be doing anything related to the story itself. I'm just gonna walk around and we're gonna explore the city together for quite a bit, so that we can see how it behaves performance-wise. As you can see, even without ray tracing, oh shit. Let's walk away from there. So as you can see, even without ray tracing, it does look very nice. Mainly once you get rid of the deep learning super sampling, which does wash things out a little bit. It's hardly noticeable when you're like playing 4K or quad HD, but in Full HD it's very noticeable. Sort of just, you know, just screams like, oh boy, you got DLSS enabled. So once you get rid of it, it does look a lot better for 1080p. And yes, the game is very demanding. It's very hard for a game to actually max out my card at just 60 FPS, 60 Hz for 1080p. But then again, it's a true next-gen game. We're finally looking at something massive, like the city's giant, and there's a bunch of NPCs. Like, I remember pre-release people saying the game felt like empty and shit, but bruh, look at that. Just look around. There's a bunch of people everywhere. And the CPU is just, you know, going nuts, 42%. So, yeah, whoever said the game feels empty is playing wrong. Maybe they played it on console, which I don't know for sure if it actually has that many NPCs. But on PC, with it maxed out, with the setting maxed out, you can clearly tell there's a bunch going on. There's a lot going on. The city is amazing, very, very well done. I've never seen anything like that. Like, you can really see where they put all those development years. So it's a city that feels alive. But then again, the only thing that I would actually criticize is the fact that it can't really do much in a sense. I mean, there's the story, of course, which is excellent. Loved it so far. But when it comes to yourself actually doing shit in the city, it just, you know, it doesn't have much of a purpose in a sense. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but I just don't feel like, you know, you're connected to the city in a way, because you really cannot do much. I mean, you can buy food, you can like get hookers, you can drink and steal cars, but you know, there's just that missing element, which then again could be the fact that I sort of wanted a Grand Theft Auto-y mix, like Grand Theft Auto and Fallout had a kid. That was what I expected of Cyberpunk, and it's clearly not. It's a role-playing game, of course, which is a known fact, but yeah, that's just about it, which happens to be in a city that feels very alive. But then again, you cannot live within the city. You cannot, you know, you just don't feel like you're part of it in a sense. It's like everything is just, you know, it's like the city is unaware of your presence in a sense. It doesn't, like, you pull a gun out, they don't care, they don't scream, they don't run. It's almost as if you're not there. They don't look at you, they don't stare, they don't care at all, which makes you feel like you're just a spectator, just, you know, walking around, and they just mind their own businesses. They don't care at all. And traffic feels a little weird. They drive way too slow. The cars behave very weirdly at times. But other than that, I'm very satisfied with the game, I gotta say. And I know it's just a benchmark, so it should be anything more than that, but I just felt like putting this out because it's just one of the things that have been quite a letdown, honestly, because I felt like after completing the main story I could actually play the game like a huge Grand Theft Auto, and it turns out it's not much like that. You cannot really do much in the city. They don't care about you. It's like you're not there. But there's a lot going on. You know, if you ignore the fact that they are unaware of you, the world around you is just going nuts. See, there's people running, people shooting everywhere. There's a lot of action. So it feels very alive, but it's just that you're not part of it. You know, it lives, but just like the real world, you're just like an external element, not part of the world at all. Which, I don't know, it just feels weird. You know, it's just like you're a camera walking around. And but yeah, performance, that's the whole point here. So we're looking at 50s still on Ultra 1080p, which is slightly underwhelming for a 2070, which, I mean, it's not a high-end card, I know it's not, but one should expect more from a card that powerful, you know? I mean, it's Full HD after all. It's a Quad HD graphics card, and it seems to struggle a lot with 1080p. Which then again, I do understand. I mean, it was a Quad HD when it came out in 2018, but now it's just, you know, games get better, games get more intensive graphically. So, of course, at one point the card is not as good anymore. So we cannot just blame the game itself. Of course, I feel like they could have done more work in that regard, optimizing it. But then again, I do understand that I don't have a top-of-the-line computer anymore. I never had. I mean, it was never top of the line. But I don't have a slightly above the average computer anymore. So nowadays you can get 3070 for 500 quid, which performs like the 2080 Ti, which was the top of the line you could have back in 2018. So there's that, and there's the 3060 Ti, which is just 300 bucks and performs better than the 2070 as well, slightly better. It sort of 2080 Super performance wise. So yeah, there's that. So I do understand that I don't have the supreme rig, so I cannot just blame the game, oh it's badly optimized. I mean, things evolve constantly, and it's no different with games. We've seen it happen before. You know, it happens all the time. It's natural. It's only natural. So I can't really say I'm not satisfied with the performance. I mean, I was worried it could be worse than that. That maybe I couldn't run it on ultra settings at all. And I sort of can run. Without recording, I hit 60 mainly all the time, which is pretty good. Still, I know, 1080p, but the game looks very nice. I mean, just look around. The city feels very alive. There's a lot going on. And then again, another thing that I think should be worth noting is the fact that like people are shooting around 1 block away, and like the people across the street don't seem to care, which could be dumb AI or just the fact that they are used to it because it's a dangerous city. So maybe it's just how it should be, you know. They just had a lot of that, so they just yeah, another shooting, you know. So it could be that, or it could be dumb AI, which would then again be concerning if you're one of those who like to, like, you know, just shoot around, bring chaos. Maybe that's not the game for you, or maybe it is, who knows. Oh shit, phone call. I'm not sure if I can take that. Oh, okay, let's end the video. End the video now. We don't want spoilers, right? We don't want spoilers. Goodbye.